Well, it's been a minute and a half since we've done one of these, and it's been a full 8 months since Leia's TPLO surgery, her second TPLO surgery. So I think it's high time we did a Leia the Husky health update. So here's where we're at. If you watched my previous health update leading up to the surgery, you'll know that I was really nervous going into it because it wasn't a complete tear of her CCL. Her first surgery on her left hind leg, this one right here, she had back in late August 2023. This most recent surgery she had in early November 2025. So a little more than 2 years later, which for the record was on her right hind leg. Anyway, her first surgery came after a complete tear of her CCL. She just couldn't use the knee at all. So it was clear that she really needed this surgery. The second surgery, it wasn't a complete tear. I just noticed that she was very stiff or limping after extended exercise on her leg. And it could range anywhere from, we went on long dog walks, which by the way, we do every day, to we had gone to the dog park. Those were more extreme examples where she just wouldn't put any weight on the knee for 3-4 days after going to the dog park. And Leia loves going to the dog park. Going to the dog park is her favorite thing ever. It would kill me if we weren't able to go to the dog park anymore. So anyway, I met with the surgeon and he said, there's no way to know if it's a complete tear until we open her up and see. Because it's soft tissue, it won't show up on the x-ray. So when she had the surgery, they were able to look at the CCL and confirm that she had a partial tear. It was about 30% torn. And he said, yeah, it was on its way out. You were going to need the surgery eventually. And that was kind of his point leading up to the surgery was, if you think she's going to need the surgery, the best time to do it is now, because the knee joint will only further degrade. And you want to do it while the knee joint is as robust as possible. Let me tell you, I knew from experience after the first surgery that the first 2 weeks after the surgery were going to be the worst. And son of a bitch, they sure were. Leia loves exercise. Exercise is her drug of choice. And she wasn't able to go on the kind of walks that she wanted to, or murder her brother in the way that she wanted. It was really frustrating. She wasn't sleeping. I wasn't sleeping. It was bad. But once you get through that first 2-week hurdle where the bone is kind of out of the danger zone and you can start going on longer and longer walks, that is infinitely more manageable. Now, for an incredibly active husky like Leia, it's still an issue, but we got through it. And the x-rays that we had done about 2 months after the surgery confirmed that the bone healed perfectly. So that's all great. We also invested in 12 weeks of rehab for Leia, which we had done after the first surgery, and we saw a lot of benefit from it. Now, for some dogs, they do it to get them to the point where they can go on walks. That wasn't an issue for Leia. She just wanted to go on walks like crazy. So I don't actually know how much help the underwater treadmill did, because she was already willing and able to go on these walks. But certainly the exercises that the physical therapist gave us, certainly the extra eyes on here's what we need to work on, here's where she's improving, here's where she's not, that was all tremendously helpful and frankly worth the money. Also, just as an aside, I don't know if there was some sort of sound the machine was making that only Archer could hear, but whenever Leia got this red light treatment for, I don't know what it is, frankly. It might be bullshit. I don't know. To help break the inflammation in her knee, Archer was so upset. He tried to crawl into my lap a couple times. He really hated it. I don't know what it was doing, but he was not a fan. He was actively scared of the machine. But they're kind of a package deal. I wasn't going to leave him at home. That would stress him out even more. So after Leia was fully healed, I took her back to the dog park. And son of a bitch, wouldn't you know it, she immediately leapt over a fence. I thought her fence leaping days were behind her. She's 8 years old now, and she's had 2 replacement knee surgeries. That's crazy. You would expect her fence leaping days to be done, but not in the case of Leia. Nothing can stop Leia. Isn't that right, Leia? Look at her paws. I'm obsessed with her paws. I love her paws so much. Overall, the recovery from her surgery has been stellar. Her knee is not the issue anymore. However, there are still a couple of other issues that we're working through. I am unclear if it's her knee or her hip. Now, what I am clear about is that it is her left hind leg, where she had the first surgery, not this most recent surgery. Some things are just a little uncomfortable for her. The biggest manifestation of this is sitting. She will now only sit lopsided. When you ask her to sit, she gets very upset. She does not want to do it. It's clearly uncomfortable for her. So I don't make her. We are still doing some of the exercises to try to improve that, but at the end of the day, her comfort is the most important thing to me, and I don't think it's necessarily a muscle issue. Additionally, she won't go up and down the steps that lead into the backyard from the deck. This is a problem because anytime she wants to go to the bathroom at any hour, day or night, her solution is to come yell at me to put her leash on and take her out front to pee. I am very happy to do this, but it can happen several times in the night, and yeah, I'm not sleeping great still. So that's an issue. One other issue that I have, and this is kind of unique to Leia, is how much of a picky eater she is. And when you're trying to train her and get her to do things that might be a little bit uncomfortable for her to help her build those muscles and get back to fighting shape. When she's such a picky eater, bribery is not as effective as it might be for most other dogs. If only there were some sort of meal service for dogs that catered to picky eaters, like there are for humans. Kind of like the service offered by the sponsor of today's video. How is that for a segue, Leia? But before we continue, Archer and Leia have a word for you from today's video sponsor, HelloFresh. Raising 2 Huskies is a full-time job, so I'm always looking for ways to save time where I can. And that's where HelloFresh has been a lifesaver. HelloFresh's new quick and easy menu gives me everything I could want. It's a massive selection of exciting dishes from around the world. Cuisines like Korean, Italian, or even Moroccan. And they're low-lift recipes perfect for after a 3-hour husky walk in the summer sun. So you can still have delicious home-cooked meals any night of the week, even if your dogs run your life. Even better, if you're a picky eater like Leia, HelloFresh's menu is effortlessly customizable, allowing you to do things like swapping proteins or doubling the portion size so that you can build your meals around your and your family's tastes. And if you've got a lean, muscular build like Archer or me, HelloFresh boasts over 35 high-protein recipes so that you can hit your macros and maximize those gains. Also, for a limited time only, with your 3rd box of an active subscription, HelloFresh is offering a free Caraway food storage set valued at $155. So sign up for HelloFresh today and get 10 free meals by scanning this QR code, using this code at checkout, or by clicking the link in this video's description. So thanks again to today's video sponsor, HelloFresh. And now, back to the video. As I was saying, getting her to do these various exercises is still a challenge. Now, we know from some x-rays that Leia has had in the past that she does have arthritis. Specifically, they called it out in her hips. And that was like 2 years ago that they found that. I hadn't seen any symptoms of it until after her surgery. Now, when we go on walks, she is still firing on all cylinders. She's running, she's jumping, she's skipping, she's playing. Exercise remains her drug of choice, but I haven't been taking them back to the dog park nearly as much because I have noticed that she is still stiff afterwards, and I don't want her to injure herself. So we're addressing this in 4 main ways. 1, the exercises that I have already talked about that were given to us by the physical therapist. Those were specifically for the rehab of her knee, but I think, frankly, for strengthening, mobility, etc., they're all very good. You know, maybe I can make a video going over those exercises. Is that something you would want to see? Would that be helpful? I'll do it if you want me to. Let me know in the comments. The second is some arthritis medication. Now, she was originally on this arthritis medication after her first surgery. It's called Adequan. Not sponsored. And I did see some tangible benefits from it. Recently, she's been put back on. So for the first month, she's getting an Adequan injection twice a week. And then after that, she's getting it once a month moving forward. And she'll just be on that forever. And she's such a good girl. She just lets me give her an injection, no problem. She doesn't fight me at all. She's so sweet and wonderful. The third is pain mitigation. She is on a combination of gabapentin and something else. I can't remember what the other thing's called. It's called Carprofen. I just went and looked it up. Lately, I've been giving her those before we go on a big walk. If I remember. If I forget and I notice that she's a little stiff after the walk, that's when I'll give it to her. My understanding is gabapentin is for pain management and Carprofen is an anti-inflammatory. But I'm not a vet. I could be wrong about that. Right, Leia? And I just notice a big difference in the frequency with which she needs to take breaks on our walks when she's had her pain meds. But I don't know that we want to be 100% reliant on those. And the fourth and final way we're addressing this is joint supplements. So that's where we're at. This weekend, I'm going to take them to the dog park. I'm going to see how she does. I think she's earned it. I don't know if she's going to be jumping over any fences, but I do know she will be going hard because she only has 1 speed. She did have her annual checkup last month and she got a full blood panel and everything. And the vet said she is in perfect health. So really, it's just the joint stuff that's an issue. I mean, you know, she's 8 years old, 8.5 now, and no signs of slowing down. That's kind of all I can ask for. Right, Leia? Anyway, she's just so perfect, and I love her so much. Ooh, one update. Literally this morning, our pet insurance company denied her claim for the surgery. Now, I'm not ready to put them on blast yet because we sent back another email saying, what do you mean denied? They said it was a pre-existing condition. They don't cover pre-existing conditions. We said, that's ridiculous. She has been on your insurance since she was 8 weeks old. How could this possibly have been a pre-existing condition? And it costs like $400 a month. So I don't know. We're going to fight it. Full disclosure, I am not above putting them on blast. But we're not there yet. We'll see what they say. Overall, the surgery cost us about $8,000 American. And they were never going to cover the rehab, which was an extra $2,000 on top of that. But I was expecting them to cover at least a portion of the surgery. So that's a bummer, which is another wonderful segue into shouting out the Patreon and YouTube channel members, without whose support none of this would be possible. Here are your names. Thanks. Your support of the channel and of Archer and Leia and me is just incredible, and I am so grateful, and thank you. We've got a lot of exciting YouTube videos coming up this month over the next 5 weeks, and we're already into planning and shooting for the 5 weeks after that, so I'm very excited about the future of this YouTube channel. So stay tuned, and don't forget, it's still July 2026 at the time of posting this, so you still have time to pick up your Unfollow Miffles sticker.
Leia, wait, Leia. Wait, Leia. Wait, Leia, don't run away from me. I was putting you in the shot, Leia. It was a really cool dynamic shot. Don't run away from me, Leia.
So the real question is, all of that being said, do I recommend TPLO surgery for your dog? Well, I have no idea. I am not a vet. That is for you and your vet to decide together. I can only speak to the prices here in Seattle, Washington, which is not a cheap city by any stretch of the imagination. So it might be more affordable for you than it was for us. But ultimately, yeah, I do think it was worth it. Again, exercise is the most important thing to Leia, and I think the surgery will ensure that she's able to maintain the level of activity that she wants for as long as possible. So I would do it again in a heartbeat. So that has been your Leia the Husky health update for July 2026. Thanks once again to the Patreon and YouTube channel members, and thanks to you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.